Hello and welcome to Thursday Night Live. I'm Mark Mulv off the Noisy Neighbors podcast. I'm here with my new friend, Tariq from Shades of Blue Pod. How are you
Yes,
doing,
sir.
pal?
Doing well, man. Glad to be here. Glad to be here. Like I said, you guys are the OGs. So getting a chance to come on with you guys and or with you and be a part of it. I'm glad to be here.
Oh, thanks so much, mate. Hello again, Thursday Night Live. This is our attempt to bring you some weekly content every Thursday about this time. I don't know how long the shows will be, half an hour, somewhere in between. But we're trying to get some of the stateside Man City content creators together tonight. It's myself and Tariq from Shades of Blue. We're going to go through all the latest City news. Excited to hear what my new friend thinks about what's going on with Manchester City at the moment. We had the Champions League draw today. We'll get into that. The Carabao Cup draw is out. We've got transfer stuff still going on at this point, unfortunately. Of course, we got a quick look back at Newcastle last Sunday, and then ahead. Oh, the Barcelona friendly, of course, and then look ahead to Crystal Palace on I think it's Saturday. So, if you guys don't mind, comment along in the chat with us. We'll be trying to do our best to keep up with it. And I already see some comedy in the chat. Tariq, have you figured out how to look at the chat there?
Okay, I just hit the other button. There we go. I can see it now.
Yeah. So keep your eye on that. Lots of people here already. Hello, Jacob. Hello, Kyle. Forrest. Jacob Lackey's here. Steve Talon. Brilliant. This is
I like
live.
this. This is
Live.
cool.
Yeah, it's really fun. Appreciate everybody jumping on. Jake Eck has already commented on the Bernardo drama that I'm interested to hear your thoughts on, Tariq, in a bit. But I tell you what, save your questions for a bit later so that we can answer them later on in the show. Because I do want to start with a look back at Newcastle. So it's been a few days now, a 3-3 away at St. James. The more I look back on this, the more sort of okay I am with the result. Considering we came back from 3-1 down, considering how good Newcastle are becoming, considering it was away. So I've sort of come to terms with the result now, and I'm not sure if I'm happy with it, but I'm certainly okay with it. How do you feel about it, Tariq?
Well, definitely not happy about it. Let's, put that out there for sure. I'm never happy unless we win, which, we have somebody on our group that has said we're going to go undefeated.
Okay,
So not
Invincibles.
saying we're gonna win them all, but shout out to Tom Bomb. He's saying we're gonna go undefeated. So this kept that for us. So super excited about that. You know, prior to the match, I saw the comments from Eddie Howe about how Newcastle wasn't going to be afraid of us. They were going to come after us and they weren't going to be scared and all those things, right? And that should have been the warning that we needed to make sure we came to play. Because he
Yep.
was telling us, hey, it was almost a challenge. It was a challenge. And so I was hoping that we would come out. I really was hoping we were going to hang, a big number on them just to kind of shut them up because again, we're City. How dare you? But that being said, they came out and did exactly what he said they were going to do.
Yeah.
Saint Maximin, that
Mhm.
guy caused us all kinds of trouble. Man, it made you had to just take your hat off to him because
Mhm.
he's very up and down. But when he's up, he's almost unplayable, and that's how he looked. And at least in the first half, he was a little bit quieter
Yeah.
than the second half, but that first half was amazing to watch, even though
Yeah,
it hurt us.
I would agree with all that, mate. As I look back at the weekend and the fixture on Monday between Liverpool and United, like my theme for the weekend was energy, and
Yep.
Newcastle had it. We didn't quite match it until later on in the game,
Yep.
But you know who really had it was Manchester United. And I don't know if you caught that game, but they just
I did.
blitzed Liverpool for
Yeah.
90 minutes. And usually it's Liverpool doing the blitzing. You know what I mean? That's the Klopp style. And maybe that style is starting to catch up with them a little bit in the injury department, and
Well,
maybe mentally.
yeah, I saw the note that it was in year 7 that it kind of came off the rails in Dortmund,
Mhm.
and this is year 7 here. I don't know that it'll necessarily fall apart, but if you go off a track record, wouldn't be surprised. You know, again, there are think about Jose Mourinho, you think about Conte, coaches like that, managers like that. Their track record is 2 to 3 years is about all that you can get, and it's been a consistent pattern. Now, again, 7 years is a long time, so we'll see if the pattern holds. But um, at least in these first couple games, and it is only a couple games, but in these first couple games, they don't look like the Liverpool that has run us close for the last few years.
Yeah, you hate to see it. You really hate to see it.
Well, I don't know that I
I'm
hate
really
to see it.
enjoying it.
Yeah, I don't know that I hate to see it. I actually like to see it.
I was being sarcastic.
Yeah,
You know
no,
the
I get
English
it.
always sarcastic.
You know, I'm a City fan, so I'm supposed to have United as our big rival,
Hmm.
but I don't, again, I've been a City fan going back to 13, I
Okay.
think. So United's not been that great since I've been a City fan.
Mhm.
And for me, I hate Liverpool more than United. Now, again, if United ever comes back, I'll flip that. But right now, I want to see Liverpool lose every match out.
Yeah, I can understand that, particularly the way Liverpool have been sort of our main rivals on the pitch in recent years. And certainly, I don't know if you've interacted with any of their fans online. You see what their fans get up to in Europe. Uh, so I can understand how you might for you that Liverpool would be
Yeah,
your rival in your mind. For me, it will always be Manchester United. Just it's just part of the experience from when I was a kid. My dad hated him. His dad hated him. Um, yeah, and it's just something I've grown to to be a part of. So to see them down like they are now, and I say down, they're not really that down, are they?
yeah.
I mean they're having a bit of a dip. They
It's
might
all
finish,
relative.
yeah, they might finish mid-table, but the way they're crying their eyes out is quite funny to me. So yeah, long may that last. Let's have a quick look at the chat, mate, and say hello to some folks. Um, Foodie Hauser back at it. Thank you. That's a joke from the last podcast we did. Um, what else? Let's see. Hi, Michelle from Houston. See you soon. Glad you finally dropped the dead weight.
Joey McCune.
No, he'll be back
You guys
next
get
week,
me in
mate.
trouble.
Let's see. Hi, Steve in Chicago. Daniel says, "What's popping? What's popping there, mate?" Oh, this is nice from Jake. He says, "It's nice to have a stateside fan representation here on YouTube. Thanks for doing the podcast." You're welcome.
Yeah,
Um,
much appreciation.
Once again, this is Tariq from Shades of Blue. Check them out. How can they find that, Tariq?
If you're on Twitter, you can go at Shades of Blue US.
Okay.
And then in the bio, there is a link tree link that has all of the YouTube. I see somebody said salute from Northern Indiana. I'm from Fort Wayne, so
Let's
Franklin
go.
Cap. Let's go. So there's the YouTube. There's all the links to Spotify, Apple, all that stuff for the podcast. So yeah, that's where you can find us.
Hello to Chris from San Antonio. Rogers in Montreal. I am 8. Forrest is in Philly. This is brilliant. This guy's checking in from Uranus. Classic. Thank you, Brent. Let's see. Oh,
Stanley
yeah.
Hawkins with the hashtag Shady Gang. Appreciate that.
Yep. Hashtag Shady Gang. Love it. Forrest says he's never seen Kyle Walker struggle so much as he did with St. Maximin. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
It was,
that was tough. And I feel like he got a little bit of unfair stick from that because the reality is he wasn't playing in his defensively, he wasn't playing in his typical right back
yep.
position, right? He's tucked so far in that when that out ball goes, out to that right wing or to their left wing, our right
Mhm.
wing, he's got 20, 30 yards to make up on St. Maximin. So, could he have played better? Yes. Was that his best game? No. But I think the tactics that we were using and that we have used all this season so far put him in a bad position.
Yeah, they didn't help.
I feel like we did a little bit better job in the second half, but I think the reality is this is how, quite frankly, West Ham tried the same thing with Mikel Antonio. He wasn't successful, but this is what we're going to see all season long, and we just got to learn how to, play against it.
There's your friend Franklin from Northern Indiana. We got somebody from Australia.
That's what's up.
Brilliant. Hashtag Shady Gang. Indianapolis is in the house. All right, Austin. Hi, Tifa. And of course, as always, Matthew Ide is in Delaware. All right, let us move on to our next topic, which is the friendly against Barcelona. That was yesterday, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So first of all, I know it was for charity, so it's a good cause, ALS, but how did you feel about us even having a charity match midweek?
Yeah, you're right on it, right? I hate the fact that this was scheduled as a midweek game in the midst of our season as opposed to a preseason match, which is what I feel like it should have been. But I do appreciate the cause, right? I appreciate the cause that
Of
they
course.
played for. And I'm glad that the club that I enjoy and that I support cares enough to do this, right? So no knocking the cause, but I wouldn't have scheduled this in the way that we did. If it couldn't have gotten done in the preseason, I'm sorry, we're just not gonna be able to play it.
Yeah, let's see, Jacob. What a mess it was, to be fair. I suppose we've got two injuries. Calvin Phillips has done something to his shoulder or his collarbone. Not sure exactly. If anybody in the chat knows how Calvin Phillips is, rumors are it's not as bad as it was suspected.
Yeah,
And
that's
then of
what I thought
course
too.
Luke and Bete clashed heads, I think, with one of their defenders and had to be taken off. When I watched it back, it didn't look great, but it didn't look like when there's collisions and you can tell somebody's immediately out.
Right.
Like they can't hold their head up when they fall. He didn't look like he was out, but he definitely was concussed. So hopefully he's okay too. Somebody talking about a hamstring tear. Ooh, dear Brian.
Hamstring tear
I
for
didn't hear.
so I did see an interview with Calvin Phillips before that said he had been out because of a slight hamstring tear, and so he had taken it easy. But that was before the Barca game. In the Barca match is when, to your point, he had the arm, shoulder, some kind of an injury. But like you said, they're reporting that maybe it's not as bad as it initially looked. So don't know what that means. Don't know if it'll be available for the weekend or what, but I'll take good news any way we can get it, quite frankly.
Mhm.
And so to me, going back to playing this match, right, in my mind, there was only ever a downside to this game. There really was no upside. Yeah, I guess yes, our subs, our backups, and our academy kids get a few moments to play together. They get some minutes, but again, it's a charity match. It's a friendly match. They're not going all out. I just feel like the upside was way, way outdone by the downside, which was the potential for injuries. We
Yeah.
did see that, unfortunately. Um, this sounds really bad, but it could have been worse. It could have been one of, it could have been KDB. It could have been somebody like that. And I don't like any injuries to any of our players. Um, but had this been KDB going out for any extended amount of time, I think as a fan base, we would have been in an uproar. Why are we doing this?
Yeah, I think that's all fair, mate. I think the argument for playing the match has got to be getting some rhythm for some players who haven't featured yet, getting a chance to look at some of the younger guys. Because I tell you what, Pep is keeping a pretty small squad this season.
Very much
And
so.
with the amount of games we're going to have to play in such a short period because of the World Cup and the effect that's having on the entire schedule, um, I think that we might see a lot more of the younger guys this season than we normally would. So getting them bedded in, as they
Sure.
like to say, um, is a positive. I think you've got the new left back Sergio Gomez came in. He looked pretty good, by the way, both attacking and defending. He looked very confident, which I liked. He didn't seem panicked at all when he was caught in possession around the sideline. He looked he looked very promising. I know it's only half a game or whatever, but he looked very promising.
That's awesome.
Looked very confident in his technique and his ability to keep the ball, which is the Guardiola style. So, yeah, I think if we're taking positives, then the other one is the way Alvarez looks. Alvarez is an absolute menace. Just wouldn't stop running. I mean, we talk about him being like some kind of Tevez Aguero hybrid
Combo,
regen, right? I think he's a Gabriel Jesus regen. Just the qualities, he has. Got his goal from just being persistent, chasing a lost cause. Goalkeeper drops it, he taps it in. That's Jesus to me, chasing causes like that, running his ass off.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that was good. There was a very dodgy penalty at the end. I don't know if it was planned or what to make it 3-3.
It almost felt like it. Like when I
Yeah,
saw the replay, it was like they had already predetermined this game was going to end in a 3-3 draw. We just had to figure, or it's going to end in a draw. So whoever's up, we're going to find a way to get them back in it. But I guess we had to make the penalty. We had to take and make the shot, which isn't always a guarantee with City.
mhm.
Mahrez stepped up, and he did well last year. He stepped up, he took it. I could have a debate. I personally would
Let's have
rather
it.
see. I'd rather see Holland take that.
Okay.
I'd rather see Holland take that because again, I want him in such a scoring rhythm that every time he touches the ball, he feels like it's going to go in. And
Mhm.
I just think you give him that penalty. Now, again, of course, if he takes it and he misses it, does that set him back? But I feel like you gotta give him those opportunities, which we didn't touch on it in the Newcastle, touching on the Newcastle match, but Foden, I feel like, and I've said this on our podcast, there's been this past game and the game before, there were opportunities for him to square to
Mhm.
Holland. I feel
Yeah.
like he's gotta make that pass. He's got to get him involved, and give him good shots, clean shots, because a lot of what he's getting right now is kind of, you know, in the midst of a bunch of bodies and all that kind of stuff. We have to get him in a scoring rhythm, get him comfortable playing, and we got to just look for him. That's what he's out there for.
Yeah. I would take it a step further on Foden. I would say that Foden has another level or another gear in him that I haven't seen in a while. I used to put him in my category of what I would call shaggers, like deadly in front of goal. And he's slowly slipping out of my shagger category. Now, Ilkay Gundogan has crept into it.
Yes.
He's lights out. But Phil, I don't know if I'm going to go as far as to say disappointed in Phil lately, but what I will say is I think he's got another level in him that he hasn't shown in a little while now.
So I didn't say this on our podcast, but thinking about it now, with the World Cup coming up, do you feel like maybe he's trying to play for his spot on the English team? Is he trying to show, because again, you're competing with Grealish, you're competing with Mason Mount, you're competing with Saka, you're all these other players for these wing opportunities, Sterling. So is it, and maybe he'll play more through the middle for in the World Cup, I don't know, but is he trying too hard to show, and not just with England, but even with our team, with City, because we have Grealish that can play on that wing.
Mhm. It's
Is he
possible.
trying to show
It's
that I belong
possible.
on the field?
Um, yeah, maybe he's got something mental going on. Um, I have no idea, but I just know he's got levels to him,
Yeah,
and
I agree.
he can improve, and he can find he'll figure out him and Holland will figure each other out. I think we're at what 2 or 3 games in, and it's already looking so promising. So I think Holland and Grealish have already struck up a bit of a vibe.
Yep.
And I think the next one will be Foden. So now if Holland and KDB figure it out,
Yeah. KDB
over.
we've always known he's insane, and I don't care what the voters said. Well, I guess I understand the Real Madrid for getting the UEFA Best Player because they did win World Cup, but Foden's got it. I mean, excuse me, KDB's got to be the best player in the world right now. He's
Oh yeah,
playing
100%.
lights out,
Yeah.
lights out.
All right, let's check through the chat for a bit. Let's see. Oh yeah, Pepper squad reminds me that Palmer got a goal.
Yes,
It was a nice
yes.
tap in, a beautiful build up. Overall, Cole was a bit hit and miss. He snatched at some of his opportunities when he was through on goal, but I think he's probably still getting his fitness and his rhythm back from missing a large chunk of last season. Let's see. Uh, Matthew says Liz wants to know why you look so cool. I don't know. Could it be my Tony Stark glasses? Maybe. What's up? Um, Jacob Levitt, respect. Thank you, mate. Gundo is Captain Cunch. Thank you.
All right.
Come to Cunch. Yeah, he is clutch. He is very clutch. Let's see. Oh, Jake wants to talk about Foden. Feels regressing like a lot of 22-year-olds who think they've made it and then they fade away. Oh dear.
Yeah, so I can't put that on.
Okay.
You know what?
He's
I won't say criticize, but I'm holding him to a higher standard because I do have such high expectations for him, right?
Same.
If I didn't have such high expectations, I would just be like, okay, he's a young kid, he made up, whatever. But I've seen what he's, like you said, I've seen those levels that he can go to, and I expect to see it every game and every match, and that's probably not fair because, to your point, he's a young kid still, still going to develop that consistency, and I'm sure Pep will help him with that. But I can't put him in there with Dele Alli and those. I just can't do that.
We have a disagreement in the chat. Steve says that Foden at 50% is still better than Jack and Raz, where Jacob Lackey says that Grealish is better than an out of form Foden. So argue amongst yourselves, lads.
Yeah, Grealish has kind of got a little bit of an injury, so I would have been
Yeah.
interested to see if he was available on Sunday, excuse me, if he would have been able to play.
Here's an off the wall question from Dustin. Which player do you all think is the best skateboarder? My money's on Cole. Rico Lewis. Rico Lewis for me.
Cole Palmer has that skateboarder vibe to me. So,
Yeah, I can see it.
when you say that, I'm like, I can see him in with a skateboard. Yeah.
All right, that is the Barcelona friendly 3-3. It's consecutive 3-3 games. So they do keep us entertained. Okay, while the
We're not
Barca
having any
friendly,
issues scoring. That's a good thing.
that's true. That's true. Um, while the Barcelona friendly was going on, we found out that City had drawn Chelsea in the Carabao Cup. We are, of course, the Real Madrid of the Carabao Cup, so Chelsea will not be pleased to have drawn us, especially since this is going to be at the Etihad. What are your thoughts, Tariq, on playing a Premier League side, a top Premier League side, as early as this in the Carabao?
I want to know what happened to all those easy draws that we get accused of having all the time, right? All those United fans, it's like, oh, they always get these easy draws. What happened? I need someone to go back and fix it because I don't like seeing Chelsea this early. So these are supposed to be the rounds where our backups and our academy kids are getting a lot of their minutes.
Mm.
And I feel like in knowing Pep, he'll probably still play the way that he always does. But I don't like matching up against Chelsea. I think that's, of course, why would I? But it almost makes you want to change the way we typically play because you want to advance, you want to keep, you don't want to go out early necessarily. But then that's not fair to those other guys that are looking for these matches to get those minutes. So
Yeah,
I'm a little concerned, quite frankly.
yeah, fair enough. I like the fact that it's at home. I
Yes.
don't like the fact that it's Chelsea, especially in a cup game. It seems like Tommy Tuchel is pretty decent in a cup,
Yep. The one-off
cup
match.
tournament. He knocked us out of the FA Cup, and obviously beat us in the Champions League final. Um, yeah, so we've struggled a little bit in cups against them, but they are struggling, in my opinion.
They
I
are.
watched them. Although I tell you what, against Spurs, I thought they were decent. But they're still trying to figure things out. The transfer policy's been quite haphazard. Like I'm not sure what they're trying to do. You know what I mean? I'm not sure. I think when Tuchel joined Chelsea and came to the Premier League, I was quite um, you know, worried about what his managerial record, and like he
Mhm.
seemed like a highly rated coach that had a plan and a way of playing. But the more and more I see of him and of his Chelsea side, I can't really tell what's going on. It's a bit like what I thought of Manchester United for the past few seasons, watching them like, what is your plan here? What are you trying to do?
Yeah, they're just going out buying a bunch of names and hoping
Hmm.
that you throw them in the pot and they all kind of play together and they gel. Um, and if you just look at the names, which I did, it makes me a little nervous, right? I and I've said this on ours, but I hate seeing former City players come back because I'm always just afraid that they're going to come back and they're gonna make the play or they're gonna do the thing that uh, causes us to lose or whatever it is. And most of the time it doesn't happen, but it does make me nervous. So yeah, seeing Sterling potentially come back, which he's going to do at some point anyway,
Hmm.
but in a cup competition where we could get knocked out, um, that does make me a little nervous. Although they're seeing out of Sterling what we saw out of Sterling, a lot of
Yeah, true.
really getting into really good positions, playing really hard, but yet missing that final ball. So, you know,
So one thing we will see for sure, because it's the Carabao Cup, is we will see the number two goalkeeper, or
Ortega.
Ortega.
Yeah.
What have you made of him so far?
So I thought he's been again in the preseason. I thought he was really good. I think in the Houston match he played most of that. I'm trying to remember how much did he play. I don't know if he probably played the second half in Green Bay, but um, I've liked what I saw. I did see that he let a ball in yesterday, I think, against
Hmm.
Barca.
Yeah.
So that one was, I guess one of the things that all keepers have that in them at sometimes. Uh, but we're from the US, right? So I liked having Zach Steffen there just because it was that US representation.
Hmm.
Um, but I got to be honest and say that Ortega's probably a better second keeper than Zach Steffen was.
So
So I think we made an upgrade.
yesterday was very interesting because at one point I was thinking to myself, man, Ortega is having a really good game here. He was very aggressive, making good saves. Um, and then he had I say an absolute howler. It was a good hit from Aubameyang, but I think if you asked Ortega, he'd say, yeah, I should have saved that. He hit it hard. It got under him at the near post. I think he would tell you he should have saved it. But other than that, I thought he was great. And yeah, he does fill me with a bit more confidence than Zach. Although I was okay with Zach that he just, unfortunately for him, he made a couple of dodgy decisions in the biggest games.
Yep.
And that is it's tough to recover from that, especially
Doing it 2
with
years
a
in a
fan base.
row. I think 2
Yeah.
years in a row was that at that point, it almost becomes mental, whether it's in his own head or if
Hmm.
it's in Pep's mind. Can I trust him? And so
Yeah.
it was he almost had to go. Um, but I'm with you. I didn't think he was a bad keeper. I thought he made some untimely mistakes, but um, I do think we made an upgrade. So yeah.
So Jacob is well. First of all, Pepper squad is saying when is that Chelsea match, and Jacob says it's November 3rd and 5th. So that's quite some time from now.
So I've got it as the week of the 7th. So somewhere around where Jacob was at, 3rd,
Okay.
5th, 7th, somewhere in there. Um, it's in between it's a home match that's in between two other home matches. The Fulham match is before it, then it's the Chelsea game, and then after it is the Brentford match.
Okay.
Um,
Interesting.
so I think we will have the ability to kind of rotate the squad and rest some folks to make sure we have the top lineup for that Chelsea matchup, probably.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. Okay. Good to know. Thanks for the research. Let's see. Okay. Brian says, Joey, you're looking great, man.
You know what? I'll take it. He might not, but I'll take it nonetheless.
Great comedy. I love it. I love it.
I gotta have a little bit
All
more
right.
energy if I'm gonna be Joey, though.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, he's full of it. That's why we love him. Let's see.
Hold on, real quick. So
Yeah.
Chelsea, do you think your feelings about that match change if they bring in Aubameyang and if they bring in, say, Wesley Fofana?
Good question. Probably not, in that Tuchel couldn't figure out what to do with Lukaku. So Aubameyang, different type of player, a lot
I don't.
faster.
Did he play for him at Dortmund, or was he just with
Uh,
Klopp?
yeah, good question. See, Joey would know that, and I wouldn't.
There you go. It's like they don't play for City. Why do I care? But I think that having Aubameyang down the middle as opposed to playing Sterling down the middle will
Yeah.
probably be better for them if he actually comes. Now I hope he doesn't come because I don't want to have to worry about it. But
Yep.
if he does, I think that gives them a better finisher through the middle.
I think logically, a proper striker like an Aubameyang should make them better. Whether it will happen for them or not, I'm not too sure. But yeah, and Fofana's is he a centre back
Yeah, Leicester City.
at Leicester? Yeah, yeah, they need help back there, so he can play his full his full three at the back without using a wing back or Reece James
Yeah,
or
see,
somebody
and
like
I think
that. So
Reece James playing out of position at right center back makes them worse, because he's a better wing back.
yeah, agreed.
So if they do
Agreed.
bring in a center back, whether it's Fafana or anyone else for that matter, getting the ability to play Reece James out wide will help them improve a little bit as well. So I hope they don't, and I hope he has to play at center back and keep going.
So we got some comments on Chelsea here. Pepper Squad saying that they're going to park the bus either way.
Yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah, that's true.
Jacob's saying he's can't wait to see Haaland against Cucurella. Johnny Metallica, how are you, pal? They're screwed without Rudiger. Maybe so. Although Koulibaly's
He didn't look
not
great the
bad.
other night though. But
No,
the
but
first game
overall
he
he's
was
not bad, is
dominating.
he?
But yeah, no, he's not.
So Jake says that Aubameyang did not play for Tuchel. So there you go. Thank you for that,
There you
mate.
go. Thanks for the research.
Here's some analysis from Matthew. Chelsea stink. Fair enough. Fair enough. Let's see. Oh, I take it all back. He did play for Tuchel. Okay, Jacob.
Fire.
What you doing? What you doing, mate? What you doing? Got us all twisted. All right, cool. Let's move on from the Carabao. On to today's big Champions League draw. Did you get a chance to catch it live? How
I
were you
did.
following this?
I had it on my phone, on the website, UEFA.com website, I think it was. I took my lunch at that point so that I could watch it, because I wasn't going to be able to focus. So yeah, if you would have told me that this was going to be the result going into it, I would have taken that every single time. Absolutely. It's not the easiest group, but it's far
Right.
from the quote unquote group of death either. So
Yeah, totally agree. It's kind of mid. It's enough to keep our interest and keep our levels up, but we should come out of it, I think,
yeah, I
relatively
think we should
easily.
come out for sure. We should top the group. I think
Mhm.
the Sevilla Dortmund, who's going to come out in second, I think that's a toss up in many respects. We'll see.
Yeah, if you just threw those two names at me, I would. Although Sevilla's, I mean, they got in there because they won the Europa League, right?
Mhm.
I saw somebody on Twitter said, I'm glad we're playing Champions League Sevilla, not Europa League Sevilla."
There you go. Well, that's what happens. So they'll get third, and then they'll go win the Europa League. That's what'll end up happening.
But yeah, I kind of put those in the same bracket of level. Sevilla and Dortmund. Copenhagen, I know nothing about, so I'm
Yeah, I
gonna
don't
have to
either.
ask Joey to tell me. I'm sure he watches them every weekend.
There you go. Sevilla's got Jesus Navas, and there's another former Fernando, not Fernandinho, but
Right, his
Fernando.
twin. Yeah.
Yeah, when they both came in together. So he's at Sevilla. And then they got one of the, was it Kareem Rekik, maybe? I don't know. Rekik.
Mhm.
I don't know how you say it, but he played, he was an academy player back when
Yep.
I first was coming into the club or whatever. So I remember that name. So they got, see, and I told you I have this phobia about city players or former city players coming back to play us. I'm not as concerned about these three, but that's, again, it'll be somebody said Ronnie Lopez. Yeah, he was there too. Yeah, so we'll see. I hope that it's much ado about nothing, and we how many games have we played? There's 6, so 18 points or whatever it is. I hope we can come out with all the points. All the
So
points.
resident know-it-all Jacob Lackey says that Frankfurt won Europa. So apologies, Frankfurt won Europa.
Are they allowed to correct you on your own show? I don't
They
think
always
that's
do.
allowed. Oh.
Well, so we admit to not being, journalists or experts or anything like that. We're just two knobheads just doing a podcast. You know what I mean? So
I mean,
you
I
get
fit
corrected all the
I fit
time.
in perfect. I fit in perfect. No problem.
Oh dear. So I don't. Did you see this group of death? People are calling it the group of death. It's Bayern, Barcelona, Inter Milan, and Victoria Pilsen.
Pilsen, yeah.
That is
That's
a
a tough
that's a
group.
yeah.
Before, as they're starting to pull the ping pong balls and figure out where everybody's going to end up, you're always afraid you're going to get that group of death, right? And so
Hmm.
looking at it before the match, I was like, oh well, if we ended up with, we could have got Barca, who we just played. So it's like, I don't want them. That, to me, that would have been the worst group
Yeah,
two or pot two that we could have gotten.
we could
So
have. Yeah, for sure. So let me ask you your thoughts on the Champions League. I'll tell you mine first. I'm not a big fan, to be honest. I like the football. Don't get me wrong. I like the level of football that's played. Um, you don't tend to see so many teams um, playing low blocks. Most of these teams like to play football. They like a pretty open game.
yep.
So I like the football. I don't like the tournament. Um, I see it as a lot of people like to throw this term financial doping around when it comes to City and our owners.
Mhm.
This Champions League, this and people don't talk about it, but this is the original financial doping. The money involved when they set this thing up, and when I say they set it up, I'm talking about the teams that were very good at the time that
Sure,
it was set
sure.
up, um, who are still very good, consequently. Um,
Yep.
this is what separated. This is, you know what, everybody got upset about the Super League, yeah, because of how it was going to just separate a group of teams from everybody else, and it was going to guarantee
Mhm.
um, a place in it. Whatever, everybody lost their shit about it, right? They should really see this league for what it is, and it has what has created the haves and the have-nots across Europe, and for that reason, I've always disliked it. The fact that we've now got our way into it through investment is very nice, but am I really asked about this league? No, I'm really not.
Yeah,
Again, I like
so
the football. I don't like the league. So I'm interested to know what you think, because you're like, I think you said you came in about 2013, right?
yeah, so it's been about 9
Yeah.
or 10 years. Yep.
So we've been in it the whole time you've been supporting City. So what are your thoughts on this league, mate? Do you prefer it to the Premier League, or what do you think?
So no, I am I am pro. It's all about the league.
Okay,
Now,
great.
I absolutely want to win this, but
Mm,
not at the expense of winning the league. If I had to pick one, I would pick the league every
love it.
single time. I want us to continue to our march towards United's uh, you know first division trophy count,
Sure.
towards Liverpool's trophy count.
Yeah.
I want us to make that march. Um, I recognize that if we never win the Champions League, which I think we will at some point, but if we never do, there will be people that will use that as a stick to beat us with because they have nothing else at that point. But for me, this year right here, if we win the league, then we end up with a third consecutive or three in a row, which only United have done, right? So I want us to win that so we can join that and it can just continue to take away anything that United fans or Liverpool fans can say, oh, we have this over you, whatever, right? I do want us to win it. And you talked about the financial doping. The Champions League, in my opinion, is the reason why all of the oil money stuff that people are saying now really has no weight because we get a lot of our money just because we go so deep in Champions League. And
Yep.
for the first couple of years when I was watching it, we were I won't say lucky, but we were hoping to get out of the group. That was just if we got out of the group, made it to the next round, like okay, we did good. Now, if we don't get to the semifinals or to the finals, it's like, oh, that's kind of disappointing. So we've come a long way, but I think that, to your point, we have become one of those clubs that has become entrenched in the Champions League, and it is contributing to the gap between the bigger clubs, the
Yeah.
haves, the have nots.
Yep.
Most of these clubs won't be able to. We can spend the money because we get so much of it from Champions League.
Yeah. Yep. Let me ask you this question. Okay. A genie pops up and guarantees you this year's Premier League or this year's Champions League. So it's guaranteed. Which one do you take?
Yeah.
So this is not which one do you want to try for the most.
Sure.
This is
It's
which one
guaranteed.
could you take?
I would like to think that I would still take the league, the Premier League. But there is a piece of me that, if I'm being honest, there's a piece of me that is like, if I could guarantee it, I would take Champions League just to get that monkey off our back and shut
Exactly.
everybody up.
Yep. I totally agree with you. So while I say I hate it, the only reason I want to win it is just what you said, which is to shut people up, right? So when they talk about, I've seen a lot of people on Twitter lately, because Liverpool are struggling, they like to go in with Liverpool's golden generation. They only won one Premier League, right? That's what they're saying. I don't like talking in those terms. I don't like to diminish what other clubs have achieved, because when I look at Liverpool and I look at Klopp, I say they've won everything there is to win.
Yep.
With him there, right? Now, would I swap his trophy haul for ours in that same time? No, I wouldn't. But I think you can look at him and you can look at Liverpool in their golden era and say they won everything there was to win. And that's a really nice thing to say. We can't say that yet. We can say a lot of other great things.
Sure.
But yeah, I think if a genie gave me the choice and said guaranteed, I'd take the Champions League, because it's the one thing we don't have.
I'll say it's the only one. It's the only one we don't have yet.
Yep. And it would be, and I mean, think of all the things that they've said. Well, you haven't done this yet. All right. Think back. Like you haven't won a trophy in 34 years, or you know, you haven't been in the Champions League. You know, you haven't won the league. Yep. All those things, that we're slowly chipping away at all of those things they can smack us with, and that's the one thing that's left.
I mean, we're the only ones. We got over 100 points.
Yeah.
The Centurions.
I love that, by the way.
We still don't get the respect that team deserves, because but you haven't won. You didn't win the league. We won 4 trophies, but you didn't win Champions League. And so it's like, until we do that, that will always be the measuring stick that other people use in an attempt to
beat us with.
Down. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. How are we doing on time, mate? We are at 51 minutes. Okay. It's been great. You want to keep going?
I'm good as long as you are.
All right, cool.
Well, I say that. I don't know how long you're good for, but yeah, let's keep going.
Let's make it an hour. So we got about 10 minutes to go. I guess it's a good time to see if the chat has any questions you want us to discuss. The two things I have left on our agenda are Bernardo. He's in the news today.
Unfortunately.
Potential transfer. And then Palace on Saturday. So if you have any questions about or comments on Bernardo or Palace on Saturday, those are our topics that we're looking to chat about. I'll wait for those to show up. Well, let's just talk about Bernardo for a minute, mate. So I'm on record as saying that he's not going anywhere, because it doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever, especially this late in the window for City. Like, I don't think my club is stupid. I mean, there's two stupid things that I think they've done. One was join that Super League, and two was play no defensive midfielder in a Champions League final. But that's the only two. That's the only two. So I don't think my club is stupid enough to sell. And I said this on the pod the other day. when we play Liverpool, like our main rival in England and in Europe, Liverpool's our main rival. Like Bernardo is the first guy on the team sheet because of his qualities against a team like that.
It's hard to take
So
the ball off of him.
yeah, and he always plays him in the middle to because he can maneuver in those spaces where Liverpool like to take the ball from you and counter. So a player who is the most vital player against your biggest rival, you know, who's got 2 or 3 years left on his contract, who's just a world class talent. Um, I don't know why you'd be selling him. You know,
Yeah. I,
so
there's
what are your
to me,
thoughts?
there's no way I'm letting him go. Not at this point in the window. Um, I will admit that the constant talk is frustrating.
Mm.
And it's difficult to understand or to really know, this the talk today. Is this new? Is this brand new stuff? Or is this kind of a rehash of stuff that was brought up, a week ago or earlier this week or last week? So who knows? But I'm with you. I don't think they will let him leave at this point, even though Pep is always, if we don't want players to be here that don't want to be here. That's a conversation for another window or at the end of the season. At this point, you're here. We expect you to kind of give your all, and he always has. I agree with you. He is vital to what we want to do in every competition. It's interesting
Yep.
because there was a quote from PSG or someone with PSG. They say PSG think that Pep Guardiola has blocked the move because the Portuguese star is capable of helping them in their wait for a maiden Champions League title. Probably think that he would be vital to helping us win our maiden Champions League title, right?
Yeah.
So no, we're not going to give him up, but it's not because we think, oh, this is the final piece for them. He is a big piece for us.
Yep.
And you can't replace him at this point in the window. There's just no way. I've seen people on Twitter bring up lots of players, Lucas Paqueta, Enzo Fernandez, and others. But at this point, those players are either off the table or likely to be off the table. And I don't even know that they could. I don't know that anybody could really fill Bernardo's shoes for what he brings to the group. It's not defined by, how many goal contributions, goals and assists did he have. It's much more than that. Um, and so that I don't know who you get to take his place.
Yeah.
Supposedly he rejected a contract extension that would have put him on equal pay with KDB, is what they're
Yeah.
saying too.
So yeah.
I don't know
Uh,
that. Do you think that we would put him on par with KDB? We didn't put Holland on par with KDB.
Right.
We
We
weren't
didn't put
willing to put
Raz.
Sterling on par with
Yeah.
KDB.
Do I think he's Pep's favorite player? Yes. Do I think
I can
Pep
see that. Yep.
would Pep pay him that much? Probably. But does that fit into our, you know, our financial plan? I don't know. The thing is, we don't. We've got him for like 2 more years. I don't.
Yeah.
All the leverage is with
It's on
us.
us. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. Let's see what the chat thinks. Is this A1? It's too late for him to leave.
Yep.
Bang on.
Absolutely.
Chris says Bernardo playing yesterday's only time Barcelona see him in Camp Nou this season. Love that. See, who's this? Yeah, how would you say that? Yeroy?
Roy. Yeah.
Yeroy.
Close enough for me.
Prefer being a club that doesn't hold players hostage. Yep, he'll probably go next season. Should clap him off with the accolades and praise he deserves. We're not a prison like Spurs. Fair enough.
Oh,
And to this
absolutely.
point, people I think are getting frustrated with Pep keeps saying, we don't want to keep players who are unhappy. If he's unhappy, he can go. But I think that's always going to be Pep's line. Even when the transfer window closes, he will still say those things because that is his. That's the message he wants to put out. Because it is something that players who could potentially come to the club will
Yep.
remember.
Yep.
You know, yeah, if just like with any job, if you know that you go into a job where they'll be willing to let you go if you outgrow the job or you just want to move, that's a nice thing to know. It's attractive to potential players. So I think that's always going to be Pep's line
So
regarding this.
so really quickly, Raheem Sterling, he's getting a lot of stick. There's a lot of even City fans that are upset and so on and so forth. Um, I feel like a part of it is because he decided to leave. We've become so accustomed to our stars, our legends staying that 10 years or very close to that 10 years. And it looked like he was on pace to do that. And then he left. And I wonder how much of that is because we're just not accustomed to players wanting to leave.
Yeah, I think Sterling's getting too much stick on this because I feel like everything I've seen from him, he's being very self-aware and very honest, and he himself admitting he needed to move because he didn't think he was going to play as much,
Yep.
and he wanted to play a lot, and that's fair, you know. He's he's admitting he wasn't good enough, or he didn't think he could be good enough to stay. Um, So I think people are overreacting to his
Yep.
comments.
Yep.
Um, Now, the whole debate, is he a City legend, all that stuff. He's like a second tier kind of
Sure. Sure.
kind
Sure.
of
And
guy.
I'm
The
okay
the
with
way
that.
I would group him. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I'm with you in that I hate to see somebody get dragged for being honest, and honest in a way that's a bit self-deprecating and a bit self-aware. Like he's saying, I there was too much competition for me and I had to leave.
Yep.
That's what
It's the
he's
only way I
saying
could
for me.
guarantee
And I'm
myself.
like, cool, cool. I agree. I agree. I think we're bringing in players that are more clinical than you, and um, that's the level that the team needs to go to. So yeah, you were amazing for us. One of the best players we've ever had, and the numbers are there to prove it.
Yep.
But if you
But
didn't
it's
see
time to go.
yourself, yeah, if you didn't see yourself being a major part of the team, and you saw yourself getting more minutes elsewhere, thank you very much. Yeah, so I hope he doesn't get a bad reception when he comes, because I think it's been overblown a bit.
Yeah. I would hate to see that. I would hate to see that.
Okie doke. Let's have a look here. I wonder if the chat has got on the Sterling bit yet. I know it divides people. Yep.
Yeah. A1.
Okay,
Um,
Michelle doesn't like the way he left. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay, so he didn't do the goodbye interview and he didn't go
yeah.
to the parade. That did disappoint me a bit.
Agreed.
But again, things that I will forget not long from now and uh look back at, what he did do. So um Shinnick says I like him, but I hope he misses a layup against us.
And see, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay. And I said this on the last episode. Was it Schadenfreude, the German word?
Yeah,
Reveling in
Schadenfreude,
someone.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like that.
I'm okay with being happy that he fails when he's playing us. I have no problem with that. But I don't think that takes away for what he did for us while he was a part of our squad, right? And so,
100%.
um, you know,
100%.
I see Jacob Lackey say he didn't have the connection with the fans, and I would agree with that. I wonder how much of that though was because of all of the, I'll say, the Sterling slander that was happening in the English press
Yep.
when he was with Liverpool, when he was deciding to come to us. And I feel like some of our fans, some of our supporters bought into that, whether it was with when he was playing with England or whatever else. And so no, he didn't have that same connection with the fans, but I don't think it was necessarily all his fault.
Totally agree. And his football career has been full of, poor relationships with the media, with fan bases. The Liverpool fan base turned on him when he left. And when that happens to you, it's like in any relationship. If you have a bad relationship, you're reluctant to open yourself up and make connections with new people because you don't want to get hurt, right? So when you come from a place where you've been treated poorly, or you live in a country where the media treats you poorly, I could not blame somebody for not maybe opening up completely to a new set of fans, because you've been burnt before, and that's like a coping mechanism, I
Yep.
think. So, anyways, let's wrap this up, mate, with thoughts on this weekend. We're playing Crystal Palace at home. Palace, I think, are a bit of a bogey side for us at the moment. I think they're quite similar to Newcastle
Very much
in
so.
terms of their personnel and the way they'll play against us. What are your thoughts? Do you think they'll be as aggressive as Newcastle were?
I think they will try. I think Wilf Zaha will try to do to us what Saint Maximum did.
Mhm.
Um, Zaha has a way of getting under defender skin. He knows how to rile you up,
Yep.
and I am I don't like seeing him run at us. He's actually been, when we were talking about it on our show, we were saying, or one of the co-hosts was saying how, well, he's not really a good finisher. He's not very clinical. Um, but he's got 3 of their 4 goals this year.
Mhm.
So I don't know if that's just, hey, he's hit a purple patch and he's just doing well this year, or if he's just added finishing to his repertoire. But I, after seeing what happened to us last week, I am not looking forward to seeing him on Saturday. I'm hopeful that we've learned from it and we'll be better prepared for it. Uh, but I'm not looking forward to seeing him on the other end of other end of the field.
Yeah, I'm with you, mate. Yeah, I hope we learn from it. I hope we learn that Kyle should stay out wide and
Yes.
just deal with that. Um, just stay man to man on Zaha, and let if somebody's going to beat us, don't let it be him. Um, yeah, and that's what City and Guardiola are so good at, right, mate? Like when we drop points, they always seem to learn lessons and come back and play well. So because we're playing a similar style, similar personnel type team, this could work in our favor, because it will be fresh in the memory what happened. So yeah, that I think we've got going for us. Um, what would you do with the personnel for City, mate? Is there anybody that you think is perfect for this game, who maybe we haven't seen yet, or what would you do?
Um. So Zaha lines up. He's playing on the wing, right?
Yeah, usually left wing.
So I that's difficult because we don't really have a, well, put a right winger that's gonna, run at him. Maybe have, and I don't want to say have Walker overlap, but I want to pin him back, right? Don't let him get forward.
Fair
Don't let him
enough.
get forward. Make him defend. Um, I want to see, Gomez in this game.
Okay.
I want to see uh, that overlapping outside back putting balls in. I'd like to see that, but again, um, what do I know? We got Pep for a manager.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so I guess I'll defer to him.
I guess the big choices would be, what do you do on the right wing? And this is because of injuries, right? So Grealish is probably going to miss. Ake's probably going to miss. Laporte's
Yep,
out.
yep.
Phillips is out. And Mbete's out. Um, Last game was Bernardo on the right wing. I don't know what you thought of that, but I think probably I know Mahrez played a ton in the game against Barcelona, so I don't know what that means. Whether he's going to be expected to play another full 90 minutes against Palace, but now we've got 5 subs. So
Yeah,
that's another wrinkle, right? Maybe you don't expect players to play 90 minutes anymore because you've got 5 people you can replace them with. I would love to see Mahrez play on the right wing. I thought he was pretty good, and he looked really, really focused against Barcelona. He looked almost pissed off.
They're all competing for minutes.
Yeah, he played with a real bit of anger, in my opinion. I think partly because he wasn't seeing much of the ball in the first half, but I loved his penalty, unstoppable.
Yeah,
But yeah, I'd like to see,
perfectly placed.
I'd like to see Mahrez on the right wing. I think Phil will be on the left, Haaland in the middle, and then I don't think you can leave Gundogan out at this point.
No.
So Gundogan and Kev, Rodri behind them. And then obviously what's going to happen is Bernardo Silva is going to be on the bench and the internet will explode.
There you go.
But the back four, I think it speaks for itself. I don't think your man Sergio Gomez is going to get in.
No, he's probably not, because we're going to need Walker's pace to keep up with Zaha.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be Walker, Diaz and Stones. Yep. And Cancelo with Edison in goal. That's what I'm going for.
It's hard to take Cancelo off that left side. He's played so great there, and he creates so much from that position for us that taking him off would be a big loss.
And I think he's the type of personality that wants to play every game. I think that's why we haven't gone for a serious left back. I think that's why we walked away from Cucurella at that price, because I think we fully expected Cancelo to be our number one left back. So yeah, I think that's what they'll go with. So there's a couple of choices to make there. But so you want to wrap this up with a score prediction?
Hold on. Did you say Alvarez on the right, or did you say
no?
Mahrez?
I didn't.
You said Mahrez, right? I see in the chat they're talking about Alvarez, which is a good shout too.
Yeah, it is.
He's gonna work, because my thing with Mahrez is, in what I was concerned about with Bernardo, we need people to work back defensively when to provide Walker with that help. So Alvarez is going to do that for sure. He'll win the ball back up higher up the pitch anyway. So,
okay.
Score prediction, I'm going to say City 3-1.
All right, let's get your score predictions in the chat. Tariq's going with 3-1. I believe this is Mark Stanley. He has gone for 3-1 City with you, Tariq. Let's see. Anybody else got a score prediction for us? Steve has gone for 3-0. Hey. Let's see. Chris Hernandez, 1-0. Hopefully that's the City. I'm assuming everybody's got the City score first. 2-0 for Joe. Jacobs 2-0. Pepper Squad 2-1. They own us. Oh, 2-1 Palace. Oh, jeez.
Can you really pick against City? I mean, I guess if you're being, I just can never bring myself to do it.
Josh has gone for 2-0. Chris 1-0. Jacob 2-0. Tiff has gone for 2-0 City. So yeah, people are feeling like it's going to be close. The biggest spread I saw was 3-1, and that was from you, mate.
Yeah. Yeah.
3-0. There's 3-0 from Steve Talon, so that's the biggest. But nobody's going for like a big score or anything like that. I think that is.
Where's Crunk Chocolate? He'll give us the 6-0. If you listen to our podcast, you heard him say 6 a couple of times. I don't know how much he really means it. 6-2. There we go, Johnny Metallica.
All right, Johnny, well done. No, I think what this points to is a bit of respect for Crystal Palace. That this isn't a team that we're going to blow away. Patrick Vieira is doing a great job with them so far. So yeah, I agree with the chat. It's going to be tight.
What are the odds on 3-3?
Yeah, I'm going for 2-1. 2-1, Haaland double, Zaha for them, and but yeah, ultimately 3 points for the Blues.
Let's go.
Okay, our first ever Thursday Night Live. Once again,
wow.
Yeah, trying
Thanks
to bring.
Come on, man.
Yeah, man, you're the debutante. You and I are the debutantes for this piece of content, coming out every Thursday night around this time, trying to get some of the American content creators to jump on together and engage and talk to you folks in the chat and just put something out there for you to watch. If you don't catch it live, maybe you catch the replay on YouTube. It'll be on YouTube. So yeah, loads of stuff today.
I was in Green Bay and I got to see Hollins first. So all of the folks that are watching live, the people that are posting, they got to see this first. It's the same feeling, right? It's got to be the same feeling.
Hey, give us how they can get in touch with you again, Tariq, before we go.
If you want to reach out to me, I am on Twitter at Tariq Peterson, TarikPeterson. Again, shout out to Shades of Blue, the podcast that I do on a regular basis. And then you can find us there again on Twitter at Shades of Blue US. Yeah, you said it's Tariq, but you know what? If you have a name like Tariq, you've heard it so many different ways that I don't have a reason to correct anybody. It's all good. I know you over there in the city shirt. Okay, I'm good. So
I've said it 4 different ways tonight, mate. So
hey, it's all good. It's all good.
All right, lots of love in the chat for Tariq. Thank you again, mate. Appreciate it was really nice to meet you. We had never met before.
No,
I just pinged
Twitter. Yeah,
I just ping these boys, see if what they're doing, see if they jump on with me. So yeah, thanks everybody who
Pepper
watched.
Squad, appreciate it. I see you followed me already, so I appreciate that.
Let's go. All right, so until next week, thanks again for watching, and we'll see you then. Ta-ra.
See ya.